Welcome, everybody, to the latest installment of the Live China Music Podcast. We've got a very special episode for you today.
Yes, indeed. We are going for some gonzo journalism today with a snapshot of Shanghai.
Yes, so last weekend, Elie was gracious enough to fly his ass over here to Shanghai. And I kind of gave him a crash course of the Shanghai music scene. We hit up a lot of spots. We did a lot. He was only here 2 nights, and how would you describe your experience, Elie?
Exhausting and exhilarating.
All right, the 2 E's. I like it. I mean, originally, you came here with the idea that we would record together here. An idea that kind of fell apart immediately as soon as you got here because, well, we were just kind of running around like chickens without heads the whole time and barely a moment to rest. But, we used this to our advantage, and we kind of figured that this special episode today would kind of be we want to give a brief introduction to the Shanghai music scene. Talk about some of the venues, some of the people, some of the bands, and just kind of give you a feel for the place and the music ecosystem here.
Yeah, I flew in, so I'm based in Kunming, took a plane from there and got into Shanghai mid-afternoon at Pudong Airport. And then I had a lovely ride on the subway and met up with our common friend B from Zhuchangsila. We had dinner at that point. Will joined up with us, and we were off to the horses.
Yeah, pretty much. I was at work, so as soon as I got off work, I met up with you and Forrest. We had like a nice little dinner. Nice little Canton dinner, and then we did like a little walk around the area, and so we're basically smacking downtown, and we kind of checked out where some of the clubs used to be, particularly All Club, and then we headed to our first venue from there.
So the first venue was, I think the English name is Ming Bookstore.
Yeah, I kind of I don't know if it's like an official name, but I just kind of call it Ming Room.
Ming Room, yeah. We saw a lot of really cool venues, unusual spots, and that was definitely one of them. It's in an apartment building, and when you go in, and it's full to the brim with various paraphernalia.
It's filled with books, with art, with old DVDs, collectibles. And I'm not even sure if he's selling any of this. I think
he's not. He's not. We talked about it afterwards, and he's just he's a collector.
He's a collector. It's like a hoarder's den, essentially, and it's like overfilling with stuff. It had a very beatnik feel to it. It felt like a room that you would find in like 1960s San Francisco or something. Where just like weirdo artists and poets would just converge or something like that.
Yeah, and it's tiny. I mean, you can fit probably maybe 25 people in there, and that event was sold out, so people ended up standing in the stairway.
Yeah, and this is like a residential building too.
Yeah.
So like at some point, like we had to like basically scoot out of the way for families to to enter their room upstairs.
Yeah, and we went there because a friend I'd met in Finland a month before at Womex was actually performing. It's Dasom Beck, and she's a Korean musician, and she was performing with Datwe. He's well known in the Shanghai scene, right? I mean, he plays with Dizang. I guess he participates in a lot of different projects, right?
Yeah, he's kind of like a face that you see around a lot. he'll either be doing these kind of small scale experimental showcases, or he'll be another cog in a band like Dizang, which is very much like a world music prog kind of psych rock band that uses everything at their disposal. And so like he had a lot of instruments with him this night. A lot of wind bass instruments he was using.
It was an unplugged show, so Dizang was playing with two traditional Korean flutes, two different ones, and that way had a bunch of different things from all over China and beyond. So yeah, it was unplugged, experimental show,
improvisational. So they're kind of vibing off of each other. A lot of reacting to one another performances.
And it's the kind of show that I probably wouldn't attend every night, but once in a while, it's the kind of show that really is good to, refresh your mind, or like expose yourself to new sounds and different,
It's like a palate cleanser.
Yeah, exactly.
You're centering yourself, like, once again. You're kind of just going back to the base of what music can be. I mean, it was a very delicate performance, I would say.
Yeah. And it's always also because it comes with a lot of risk for the musicians, because they put themselves out there, out of their comfort zone, and it's tricky to do well. So I appreciate when artists go in and try these kind of things, because it's not an easy thing to do. So kudos to them.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is what kind of Ming Room excels at. They always, basically every week, they're doing, whether it be experimental music showcases or a poet gathering night or listening sessions. It's a very much a open space for artists kind of off the beaten trail to just kind of test out, or not test, just put themselves out there.
To share a little bit of Datway's musical universe, we're gonna play a little track by Dizang, the band he's working with mostly these days, which was released in September.
Yes, it was released as part of a kind of series that I want to say Voss, the venue, the live house brand in China, kind of has been doing over the past few years. Is kind of inviting bands to use their studio space, and they will put out a track for said band that joins them. And so yeah, this track came out at the end of September. It's a meaty track, 11 minutes long, but it's a wild ride. It's definitely worth sticking around for the whole thing.
So this is 图形 Earth Star by Dizang. So after that, you tried to take me to some marketplace.
I wanted to show you. Why that was Cedar Kitchen, which is another kind of really interesting. It's not a commune, but it's a collective that uses not a parking garage, but like a car garage space, like a repair shop garage. And so they have been allowed to use this space for shows, for events, for like charity events, and also, as you saw, just kind of ghost markets, I guess you could call them.
Yeah, I mean, ghost markets is basically just people come and they put down their wares, and it's mostly like, I mean, I don't know, it's like young people.
Yeah, it's kind of just very DIY, just like it's like a junk market almost in many ways. It's just like people just it's actually the closest thing to like a yard sale.
Right. So where are we going? Out there. Okay.
And so like, yeah, it was, I mean, we went through there very quickly. We were basically just there to use the bathroom.
Exactly. That was one main problem that I found in Shanghai, just I didn't expect, is, you have to be strategic about your bathroom stops.
Yeah, because a lot of spaces are, especially like when you get down to a certain size level on the smaller scale, like a lot of these places simply do not have bathrooms of their own. And so you kind of have to really have in your mind a map of where public bathrooms are, or at least where like a venue or establishment that has a usable bathroom is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we did find the bathroom, and then we ended up in a street which has a bunch of different bars. We tried two different ones that do craft beer.
Yeah, there's basically like craft beer is, everyone has their own like kind of craft beer kick now. They make a lot of their own, but they also import it from other breweries around the country. It's just a very niche thing to do now.
Yeah, but
niche,
I mean, China, I mean, now has a big culture of craft beer. I think it's been taking off for the past 10 years. Kunming has a bunch of, craft breweries. There's a bunch in all over Yunnan. They have terrific ones in Guizhou, in Chengdu, I know. And of course, Beijing early on had some people doing craft breweries. It's a big thing now in China.
Yeah, it's kind of expanded so much. These kind of tiny bars, they don't really have to. They have the pick of the crop. They have so many options about where they get their beer from, where they get their kegs from. It's kind of they can just basically use this guy for this week and then switch it up the next week. It's so you really have almost too many options.
Friday night we took it kind of easy because we knew the next day was going to be a mountain of its own to climb.
Yeah, the next day was basically, it was, we fit in a lot. It was kind of a marathon, a triathlon of venues and dives and subterranean spaces. Really, it was a gauntlet.
And I think, I was looking at my phone after, like, at the end of the day on Friday. I think I walked over 20,000 steps, which might,
hell yeah. I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, if you're gonna be productive, get in your steps while you're at it. We did a lot of walking, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think it was definitely positive for my health,
We were balancing it out, essentially, what we were doing by all that walking.
So
where did we start on Saturday?
So the next stop is Trigger, right?
Yeah.
we started at Trigger, which is another, weird space, so strange. I mean, throughout the whole weekend, I had no idea where I was. I was just following Will around, and if you gave me a map and asked me where I was, I would have no idea. So maybe I should try and put a map together and pinpoint exactly where we were. Anyways, we were somewhere in Shanghai, and it's this building.
Yeah.
that it's like an office building, like an old school one, not a new one. And it's got over several floors, and it's all doors of small businesses, and every door has its little plaque of a small business that's there, which I don't know what kind of businesses were there, but that's kind of the building.
Yeah, like a literal office building. Like it is as bland and brutalist as it can be. And so Trigger is basically another experimental music venue, but I would kind of say like on the opposite spectrum of like Ming Room. Trigger is kind of forte is extreme music.
Right.
So that's like harsh noise, just a drone, just heavy stuff. So much so that they basically have to soundproof their little tiny 4x4 room with like a giant, like 2-layer, like soundproof door.
Yeah, well, you would have to. I mean, the PA is really very powerful compared to the size of the room, because it's another one of those rooms with, that can hold only about 20 people. Without feeling too packed, and they have like pretty powerful speakers.
Yeah, even like a drum, kit in there and everything. It's crazy how much they manage to fit in there.
So I was really thankful actually in that if anyone ends up going there to try it out, that they do have earplugs for free. So if you go in and you get your ticket, and you didn't bring earplugs, you can just go up to them and tell them, look, do you have earplugs? And they will just give you a pair, which is super important. You need those. They
know the deal. They realize, like, they're not trying to hurt anyone. They want to make sure you leave with your sanity intact.
Yeah, and that's another thing, about this venue, which is, and I think it's probably true of most, venues on the small side. They're very welcoming. You got a bunch of different kind of people there. You have students, you have some lost foreigners, you have artists that are involved in the scene in general that go and attend, and everyone's very open-minded and ready to make a new friend, or just be there and enjoy the moment together.
Yeah, I mean, someone jumped on your like your French accent, which you barely have, immediately.
They picked because they have a wall with a lot of cool stuff written on there and blah blah blah. And one of them was very funny. It was a sentence. What does it say? I can't remember right now. There's like a funny sentence in French, and I just pointed it out. It was like, a French guy came in. So that guy just saw me reacting to the French. He was like, oh, that guy must be French. So he came up to me and chatted me up for a bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of the only venues where like almost every time I'm there will be some person, like usually a foreigner, who's visiting like China for the first time. And they're like from like somewhere in Europe. They're like, oh yeah, someone in Europe told me I gotta go to Trigger. I'm like, okay. It's really strange how it has this kind of, it's well known like across the world at this point. And I think a lot of that has to do with the people who run it, particularly Junkie, aka torturing nurse.
Right. he was performing that day as well, and he's been doing this for a long time. He's gotten some exposure through some of his work.
Yeah, basically, if you go on Google and like type in like torturing nurse, like you're gonna find Reddit chains, you're gonna find viral videos. Basically, one of those harsh noise artists who kind of just blew up over the year. I mean, he's been at it for almost, over 2 decades now, and does like 50 releases a year. Usually split with just random other experimental noise or hardcore artists all around the world. Now, essentially now he's like using all of his connections to kind of help build this space out and kind of invite all these artists from all around the world to perform here.
And the other thing I thought was interesting about Trigger was that it was a very varied level of artists that were performing that day. And when I mean level of artists, I'm not, critical, saying that some were better than others. I mean, some you're at different time of your development as an artist, and sometimes people start somewhere, and then after some years you get more experience, you get your own sound, etc. So that's what I mean by talking about different levels of artists, and so we had some people there that obviously were at the beginning stage of their musical journey, and some of them were much more mature, such as Torturing Nurse, and also the last performer who just arrived from Australia.
Yeah, there's nothing pretentious about Trigger. It does seem very much like welcoming to all walks of life, and that that's musically as well. And so like, yeah, it was quite an assortment. Like there was a bit of black metal we saw. There was some just guitar noise, drone music, where basically guys moving around with the guitar and just shaking it up a bit. We had like a short blast of like drums and just guitar noise from a duo.
Yeah,
that was pretty fun and propulsive.
That was awesome.
We had the last guy whose name is escaping me now.
It was Mitch Elliott.
Yes, Mitch Elliott, whose set was really honed in, really tight set, really nerdy, really cool stuff. And then of course Torturing Nurse, who basically each and every time gives you like 10 minutes of unadulterated, just harsh noise, just ramming pedals, twisting knobs, basically contorting his body against like this flimsy foldable table with all of his gear on top of it, wearing this blue hooded mask. And it's very cathartic every time he performs. I feel
it is visceral stuff.
Yeah, he has like, there's very much like you got to be on the wavelength. So I've invited like Torturing Nurse to regular shows in like more traditional venues, and it's always one of the funniest things is just like kind of seeing how people react. And just like seeing a drove of people just be like, no, this is not for me. And like just immediately exit the venue and like wait 10 minutes while other people get really into it. Like will just start headbanging and whatnot. We actually have a new release from Torturing Nurse. A collaboration with a kind of legendary American experimental artist called John Duncan, and this release entitled Glass Mine is the newest from WV Sorcerer, a very, very awesome label that we've talked about plenty of times.
Yeah, let's play that before we move on to the next venue. Quick disclaimer, this track is very loud, so you might want to adjust your volume here, and let's play Glass Mind.
Yeah. We warned you.
All right. So at that point, you were already 2 beers in. I was trying to pace myself. We were sitting outside of Trigger, this very romantic overpass, and trying to find our way for the next thing. What went on after that? Oh yeah, we had to go and find some food. We had to fuel ourselves.
Yeah. Basically, like we knew where we had our next destination, but we basically we meandered over there. We just kind of took the scenic route there, walking through some of the old neighborhoods from Yuyin Lu all the way to West Yan'an Road, because we were gonna go to the new Yuyin Town, which is kind of a big new basement space run by Yuyin Town, which is kind of the de facto #1 music venue in Shanghai that's been around for over 20 years.
Yeah, so there's a lot to say about that space. But before we got there, we met up with 2 of your crew, because LiveChinaMusic, you have your blog, you publish a lot of articles, and you get some help.
Yeah, volunteers, essentially, I suppose. People who just, want to throw in a helping hand time to time, whether it be translating or snapping photos. Shout out to Lillian and Willow, who have been a great help these past months. And so, yeah, we all grabbed noodles across the street, some nice, hearty, warm Langzhou noodles.
Yeah, so Lanzhou noodles, it's more on the heavy side of things, which you really need when it's cold, which it was. It was quite kind of cold and windy that day, so we needed some carbs, and that spot really worked to maintain our body temperature that day.
Yeah, exactly. And so, yeah, then from there, we just basically crossed over the street to kind of check out this new multi-space, I don't even know, enterprise that is Yuyin Town.
I didn't get to explore that much the building. We walked past some hallways where some shops were indicated, but it looks like a lot of it is still new and not created yet.
Yeah, a lot of it seems like kind of not DIY, but more like rotating kind of shops that are not always going to permanently be there, more like pop-up style.
And so the core of it is Yuyin Town. So they have 2 venues themselves for like live music. That's Spectres is there as well, which apparently just finished renovating. We stepped inside for a little bit, and apparently Zhao Dai are going to move in there as well in 2026.
Yeah, lots of I was actually there last night for a show, and they had already opened up a lot of like the the tinier spaces that surround the music venues. So like when you were there, the taco stand was just opening. Now Damien had opened up like a hot dog booth next to it. Uptown Records has a shop was open last night. And so it's, slowly just coming together, building into kind of like they want to create spaces that have everything you need. So you don't really have to move around in the night. A complete ecosystem of nightlife.
Yeah. And so the two spaces that are run by Yuyin Town, there's a smaller room that is probably about, I'd say, 200 capacity.
Yeah, about that.
And the larger one, which is 500 plus capacity. And both of them have been done really well. I was impressed with the sound treatment, and the gear, the PA systems are all top notch, which was great to see.
Yeah, just simple, very effective, very efficient kind of layouts.
The goal, I guess, for them is to be able to welcome any size of band, perhaps not like the massive superstars, but smaller international bands and emerging acts and Chinese touring bands. All of that kind of spectrum of independent music can perform there in very good conditions, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like depending on your audience size, you have the options. Like, do you go for something a bit easier to fill up, or do you go for the bigger space and try to bring in more people? And on top of that, you kind of, you have like the rock and roll bar Spectres next door. And it's kind of like, it all kind of, the idea is it all flows together.
We saw a band, where are they from? Did they say they come from Wuhan or something? I can't remember.
From Hefei.
Hefei, right.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Diels Alder, emo rock band that I believe we covered before on this podcast, I want to say. And very, very clean, very crisp, very polished emo rock, for better or worse. I mean, on record, I really do love this EP that they put out this year, Backlash. And so we're just going to play a track from that quickly here. This is Dying For.
Beyond all the reasons, there's a worth to testify. I can see it in your eyes. Beyond all the reasons, all religions will testify. I can see it, yes, I can see it in your eyes. Beyond all the reasons, all religions will testify. I can see it, yes, I can see it in your eyes. Screaming in paradise, dancing in lights, don't you forget.
We didn't get to see the whole performance because, Will, you were on a mission. We had so much to see.
Yeah, we were on a mission, and I was reading, I was reading the room. I was reading my guests that I had there, and I could sense they wanted something with a bit more punch in their diet. And so I knew just the antidote, and I knew that would be fuck your birthday.
Yeah. So that took us to another part of town, right within the Bandai Namco complex.
What do you say?
600. So Bandai Namco has 2 venues here. Maybe a 700-person venue there.
Yeah.
And then downstairs where Godspeed played, like a 1,200-person venue.
Okay.
And so they're both always doing stuff. And here underground is Okay, essentially a speakeasy music venue. Yes, we headed to essentially the speakeasy basement live house called Okay, which acts as kind of a hub for lots of new bands in Shanghai, and also kind of as a place for lots of bands that like to jam. So you get lots of big famous bands who perform at Bandai Namco, which is a really big, like 1,000-person venue. And then after the show, they'll just walk over to this tiny little place and they'll just start jamming out. And it's it kind of has that feel that anyone can get on stage whenever they want.
Yeah, and there was like a big contrast in terms of coming from Yuyin Town and going to Okay, which was that Yuyin Town was mostly a Chinese crowd, because most people came there was 2 different shows going on, but I think it was mostly it was all Chinese bands, and so it was I would say 95%. Chinese crowd at Yuyin Town, whereas Okay was a mixed audience, foreigners and Chinese people. For me, Okay was a big highlight of that night, and for 2 reasons. First off, there were several different bands, but the Fuck Your Birthday was performing. It's a duo, and I came in with no expectations, and they really killed it. It was so high energy and really very enjoyable performance. And the other thing was that we got to hang out with Adam, a fan of the show. So yeah.
Oh gosh, he's gonna love it. He's gonna love it. Thank you, Adam, #1 fan.
For sure. It was really nice to grab a drink and get to meet him in person, because I hadn't met him before. So that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really fun because it was kind of like, when you go to these places, you don't know who you're going to run into and stuff. And so it's kind of nice when we got to Okay, we felt very much like, oh yeah, lots of good, nice familiar faces here. But actually we do, luckily enough, Fuck Your Birthday. First off, awesome. Just win on the name, guys. Come on. All the points for that name alone. But just a really good, high-octane, mathy, grungy, just band that just gives it all. But we're lucky enough, we actually have a new track from them. It's a long track. We have a lot of long tracks today. But this track is called Skyscraper from FYB, or Fuck Your Birthday. Enjoy.
And so that venue was also one with a complicated bathroom situation where
What?
Yes, I mean they do have toilets, but you have to find them. It's better to have someone to take you there and make sure you don't get lost in the parking lot, which is what happened to me.
What I love about OK, I've always because it does get pretty labyrinthy back there, and I've always tried to figure out. I'm like, there must be a way to like sneak into like the big Bandai Namco venue through like all those like back hallways or something. So I gotta put that theory to test one day. I'm gonna test it out.
Yeah, no, I ended up like getting lost in the parking lot. Like, this is not a toilet.
Jesus, wow. Well, I mean, C's bar easier to find bathroom, though not by much.
Yeah, so that was the next stop, wasn't it? C's bar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, at this point, our night should have been over, but I knew we could fit in at least one more place before we went home. And so we kind of basically headed back all the way in the direction of where we were before, the Yuyin Town area, because I needed to show Elie C's bar, which is another kind of mainstay venue / bar that's been around for just God knows how long, and just operates on just crazy connections in Guangxi that it somehow has not, I don't know, been closed up, boarded up, because it's essentially a bar in a bomb shelter.
Some venues just have so much character, and you go there and you know that this place has history. And that's exactly, C's. You're underground in this, like there's this narrow kind of tunnels, bomb shelter style, and a bunch of small rooms connected to one another where, you feel anything can happen. And there's like so many stories of going on, of different groups of people hanging out, and you might have people on the dance floor. They have a small area there just dancing, and then if you go to a different room, you have people having a chat, and there's a piano in the corner somewhere.
Yeah, like a pool table, a foosball table, some scattered studio spaces that bands will use time to time. Just kind of endless. And just the walls are just covered in graffiti. The mildew down there, the mold must be so potent. And I mean, it's everything you want. And so yeah, I took you there basically just like because I knew you had to see this place.
Yeah,
and it helped that it was like a dub night as well, but mainly it was there for you just had to soak it in.
Yeah, I was curious about the dub night, which was a misnomer, really. The DJ was playing a lot of different music, some of it dub, but mostly not. However, I have to give kudos to the DJ that night because he had impeccable taste to get people dancing. So it was very enjoyable, yeah, there was like a bit at that point. Everything started to be a bit of a blur, really.
Okay, what are we doing here? We're just gonna check out. Supposedly dub stuff. It doesn't sound like dub at all. It's like yeah, we were basically. We're like petering out at this point, and like we kind of know like we need to call it in. We need to throw in the towel. We convinced ourselves that if we went to one more spot nearby, my apartment, it would be okay because it's on our way home. And so that's how we ended up.
I felt your resistance. I was pushing to go to Rome at that point, which was, Forest was.
Yeah. That was too long a journey for me. I knew I did not have Rome in me. And so I think we did Tang as like a compromise, and even then that like we were kind of just hovering outside of it, like barely wanting to commit to ourselves until like Forest showed up again, and kind of like just perfect timing. We're like, okay, we're going in.
But that was kind of the perfect way to end the night, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I mean, it's very much like it's a cool down. It's a come down kind of place. It's it's a very, how would you describe this place? I don't want to say hippie vibes, but it has a very much a relaxing, rugs spewed out. Everyone's kind of sitting down. Lots of down tempo electronic music going on.
Yeah, you go up the stairs and you find yourself in a very dark atmosphere. The lighting is very intimate. There's a bar, but you take your shoes off and you get on the tatami and find a spot where you can just lie down or sit cross-legged, and people drink you. You order and then they will bring you some drinks, and it's all nice and like woozy.
Good vibes. Yeah, very woozy. Just kind of like, very floaty. Very, very kind of,
It can
very
be
nice way to come down.
It can be tricky because it's a place where you don't know what time it is, how long has passed since you've come in. You can you might be there for 30 minutes or 3 hours, and it's kind of hard to tell the difference.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I do think I think lots of people go there kind of late night as like their last stop of their journey, and because it very much is a place where you could just kind of lounge there for endless amount of time.
Yeah, so we had a good relaxing moment there, chatting up with Forrest and Krampus, and I think perfect end to the night, and we got to see so many different venues in Shanghai, eclectic, vibrant, creative, and exhilarating.
So I succeeded then?
Yes, mission accomplished. I'm not moving to Shanghai though.
Yeah. I know. It's okay. It's okay. But it'll be here waiting for you whenever you want to dip back in.
Mm. Yeah, I think we'll have to do the same thing for you in Chengdu or Kunming.
Oh, Chengdu for sure. I mean, yeah, I can't wait for you to move there, and then I need another crash course of Chengdu again. It's been too long.
I think there's a lot to see in the same. Like it's also like different flavors.
Yes, exactly.
Mm.
Yeah, the record shops, the clubs, the venues. You have that nice mix. And I'm happy that Shanghai, you can still get that here.